Hello again. It is an unfortunate fact that most ethnicities, religions, and nationalities have their own prejudices and irrational dislikes of other groups. In Belgium, it's between French and Flemish speakers. In Myanmar, formerly Burma, between Buddhists and Muslims. Arabs and Jews in the Middle East. Yoruba and Igbo in Nigeria. And even in the United Kingdom, we've had friction between Catholics and Protestants, of course, in Northern Ireland. It is a universal trait of humanity to divide itself into groups in this way and display hostility towards those outside your own group. This hostility can consist of anything from pulling faces and coining unflattering nicknames to embarking upon murderous rampages. In Britain, we have over the years seen a lot of this kind of thing. There was the massacre of Jews in York in 1190, the so-called Evil May Day in London in 1517, when crowds of young men sought out foreigners to attack, anti-Catholic actions in the 17th century, the Notting Hill race riots in the 1950s, and so on. These days, with so many different minorities living in this country, the racial and religious tensions are slightly more complicated than once they were. It is no longer a case of simply the majority English population picking on outsiders, but also different minorities fighting with and attacking each other, or even targeting the majority population. Many Caribbeans dislike people from the Indian subcontinent, for example. Africans sometimes feel contemptuous of those whose heritage lies in the Caribbean. Hindus and Muslims clash, Eritreans against Ethiopians, and so on. And also some of those groups, as I say, have a permanent festering grudge against the white British population. Often this is based upon supposed historic injustices. Of course, this can be pretty complicated, so many people prefer just to believe in the old pattern of such friction. That is, that it's all about white people victimizing minorities. This is a simple and easy thing to understand, the pattern that we saw most famously in recent years with the murder of Stephen Lawrence in the early 1990s. Both the victim of that attack and his mother became practically beatified. Today all that has changed, of course, for racially motivated attacks are as likely to happen to members of the majority white population as anybody else. One remembers the murder of soldier Lee Rigby by two young men of Nigerian heritage. It is hard to believe that ethnicity did not play a role in that case. Would the killers have been as keen on attacking a black soldier, do you think? In the town of Bedford last Wednesday, a white youth called Thomas Taylor was walking past the bus station at 10 to 6 in the evening when a group of young black men launched an attack on him, which resulted in his death. Four black men appeared in court yesterday charged with his murder. By all accounts, this was a random attack upon a white person by some black people. Was there a racial motive? What is interesting to consider is what would have happened if the colours had been reversed and it had been a black youth attacked by a group of white men, as happened in the murder of Stephen Lawrence. Would this have attracted more attention? Will Thomas Taylor end up being the symbol of something important in the way that Stephen Lawrence did? Will his mother be elevated to the House of Lords? In 30 years' time, will Thomas Taylor's face be as familiar to us as is that of Stephen Lawrence? If not, then why not?